It doesn't take a life-changing epiphany to turn your world around. It takes something much smaller, something you do every day without even thinking. James Clear calls them atomic habits, and they might just be the most powerful force you've never fully understood. In a world obsessed with big wins and dramatic change, Atomic Habits flips the script and reveals a truth that's both radical and refreshingly simple. Real transformation doesn't come from massive action, but from tiny, consistent behaviors that compound over time. If you've ever struggled with change, if you've ever asked yourself why you can't seem to stick to the gym, eat better, write more, or break a bad pattern, this book is your answer. James Clear's journey into the science of small habits started with personal trauma. A devastating baseball accident in high school left him with a shattered skull and a long, uncertain road to recovery. He didn't heal in one sweeping moment, but in hundreds of small steps taken over weeks and months. That slow, quiet process taught him that change is not a single event, it's a system, a lifestyle, a commitment to getting just 1% better every day. That insight became the foundation of Atomic Habits, a book that has become a blueprint for millions looking to take back control of their behaviors and their lives. Clear begins with a powerful insight: your habits shape your identity, and your identity reinforces your habits. Most people set goals based on outcomes. I want to lose weight, I want to make more money, I want to get fit, but they don't change the systems that create those outcomes. Worse, they focus on what they want to achieve rather than who they want to become. Clear flips this by introducing identity-based habits. Instead of trying to run a marathon, focus on becoming a runner. Instead of writing a novel, aim to become a writer. When your actions align with the identity you believe about yourself, you create a feedback loop that reinforces both your confidence and your consistency. The book is built around what Clear calls the 4 laws of behavior change. These laws are practical, actionable, and rooted in behavioral science. They are: make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. These 4 laws are not just concepts, they are tools. Tools you can use to engineer your environment and your mind in a way that makes success automatic and failure much less likely. The first law, make it obvious. Clear explains that habits are triggered by cues in your environment. Most people go through life on autopilot, repeating behaviors without understanding the forces that shape them. He suggests habit tracking and habit stacking as tools to bring awareness to your current behaviors. Habit stacking is the idea that you pair a new habit with an existing one. For example, after I brush my teeth, I will meditate for 1 minute. This approach uses your existing routines as anchors, making new habits more predictable and easier to build. The second law, make it attractive. Your brain is wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. Claire explains how the more attractive a habit is, the more likely it is to stick. This is where the concept of temptation bundling comes in. You pair something you want to do with something you need to do, like watching your favorite show, only while working out. By manipulating the emotional associations you attach to your habits, you can make them irresistible. When you make good habits feel good, you create momentum that lasts. The third law, make it easy. Forget motivation. Clear says, what you need is simplicity. The easier a behavior is, the more likely it is to occur. He introduces the 2-minute rule, which states that any habit should be scaled down to a version that takes 2 minutes or less. Instead of saying, I'll read for an hour, just say, I'll read 1 page. Instead of I'll run 5 miles, start with putting on your running shoes. These gateway habits lower the barrier to entry and allow you to show up even when you're tired, distracted, or busy. And once you start, the momentum builds naturally. The fourth law, make it satisfying. We repeat behaviors that feel rewarding. Clear emphasizes that immediate rewards are essential for habit formation. While many good habits have delayed benefits, the brain responds to immediate feedback. He suggests tracking habits with a visual cue, like crossing off days on a calendar or using habit tracking apps. The satisfaction of making progress becomes a psychological reward loop. You feel good about taking action, so you're more likely to do it again. Clear also explains how to invert the 4 laws to break bad habits. Make it invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. Want to reduce screen time? Remove apps from your phone. Want to cut back on junk food? Keep it out of sight. Make the undesired behavior hard to access and less emotionally appealing. The more friction you introduce, the more likely you are to stop. One of the most revolutionary aspects of Atomic Habits is how it reframes success. Clear argues that success is not a goal, but a system. It's not about one huge breakthrough, but about hundreds of small decisions made consistently. He uses powerful analogies like the idea of an ice cube in a cold room. You keep applying heat, nothing seems to happen. Then, at 32 degrees, everything melts. Change often feels invisible until it becomes unstoppable. Clear also dives into the concept of plateaus. He calls it the valley of disappointment, where you feel like nothing is working despite your effort. He reminds us that results take time and that habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Just like money in the bank, daily actions accumulate, and the payoff may not come right away, but when it does, it can be massive. Another key theme in the book is environment design. Claire explains that willpower is overrated and environment is underrated. You are more likely to follow through on a habit if your surroundings are designed for success. If you want to drink more water, keep a glass on your desk. Want to read more? Place a book on your pillow. Shape your environment so the good habits are the path of least resistance. In one of the most insightful sections, Claire talks about habit shaping. He explains how you can start with small changes and gradually scale them. Start by showing up, then improve slowly. 1 push-up becomes 10. 10 minutes of writing becomes a chapter. He gives real examples from athletes, artists, and entrepreneurs who used the power of small, consistent action to master their crafts. They didn't wake up excellent. They built excellence brick by brick. The book also covers the social dimension of habits. Claire shows how we are heavily influenced by the habits of our tribe. If you want to become healthier, surround yourself with people who prioritize wellness. If you want to be more disciplined, spend time with those who are. Identity and behavior are often shaped by social cues and belonging. Use this to your advantage. Choose groups where your desired behavior is the norm. Claire's writing is clear, direct, and compelling. He doesn't just give theory, he gives tools. Each chapter includes summaries and action steps. The book feels like a workshop, a masterclass in behavior change. It's accessible to anyone, regardless of age, profession, or background. Whether you're a student trying to improve study habits, a parent trying to create family routines, or a leader building organizational culture, this book delivers. One of the most memorable parts of Atomic Habits is its emphasis on self-compassion. Claire doesn't advocate for perfection. He teaches the importance of not missing twice. Everyone slips, but the key is to get back on track quickly. Missing one day doesn't ruin your progress, but missing several starts to erode the identity you're building. Success is not about never failing. It's about recovering fast. As the book moves toward its conclusion, Claire reminds us that habits are not the finish line. They are the foundation. They are not the goal. They are the system that drives the goal. When you fall in love with the process instead of the result, you unlock sustainable growth. Habits become the invisible architecture of your future. Atomic Habits ends with a powerful message. You don't need to make huge changes to see huge results. You just need to get 1% better every day. Small wins become big victories. Tiny shifts lead to massive transformation. It's not sexy, it's not flashy, but it's real, and it works. If you've ever felt stuck, discouraged, or overwhelmed by the idea of change, this book will speak to you. It will show you that transformation isn't a miracle, it's a method. That greatness isn't born, it's built. That every tiny habit is a vote for the person you want to become. Start today. Start small. Build the system. Trust the process. Become the person your habits are building. Link in description.